and his front desk person's like, "Hey, I saw you in the newspaper today." I'm like, "Oh, do you guys have a copy here? Because I haven't found it yet in physical form." This article's front page above the center, above the fold. I wasn't expecting that, so that was a fun surprise.
I thought we would discuss the 5 new travel regulations in 2025. And this is important. This is something that came into play when we were in Spain.
Yeah, very much so.
And we had to get out of Spain and had to get out of the Schengen. Let's see. These 30 European countries require visa-exempt travelers to have an ETIAS travel authorization. And here they are. Where do you want to go? We can run over the top 10 trending destinations for 2025. Or we can make this a really short episode. Or we can just do like 5 of the top 10.
Let's do 5 of the top 10.
All right. My goal is to get significant income so that I can travel where I want to, where I want to. And then when something good comes up, I ain't got to hem and haw. Can we afford it? Can we do it? I can just go, boom, let's do it. Let's take advantage of it. Let's go. Let's go.
Whatever you imagine when you think of cruising might be both right and wrong, because cruising isn't one thing. I'm Bill from cruisehabit.com, and I'm a digital nomad working from ship and shore who loves sharing information to make sure people take the right cruises for them. Follow our adventures, enjoy tip videos, ship tours, and more in print and on our YouTube channel. Just visit cruisehabit.com/BSDN. We even host group cruises where you can cruise with us and get special treatment. Again, that's cruisehabit.com/BSDN or cruisehabit.com/bigsexy, whatever you'll remember.
What up, sexy world travelers? It's your boy, Big Sexy, here with a big thank you to our big, sexy world travelers. They're the folks who went over to bullwiththebutthole.com and subscribe to the podcast. I want to say a big shout out to Billy with cruisehabit.com, Lee Popsicle, Margaret White, Angel Quo, Bree, Chris Lowry, Dalen Diggs, Jesus, Joshua Tarr, Michael McKenna, Sebastian Robbins, and Smitty Scoop. If you would like to have your name read out before the show, just become a big, sexy world traveler and subscribe to the podcast. Swing on over to bullwiththebutthole.com and join the fun. Safe travels.
Damn you, Matt Donnelly. I never really noticed or paid any attention to how long this intro really is until that guy mentioned it. Oh man, here we are for another episode of this Big Sexy Digital Nomad thing, the banker. So who knows where I am or where Big Sexy is, or we're on a plane or on a train or on a boat. Who knows? But we're bringing this blast from the past to you, starting with our host, Big Sexy.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever this is hitting your ear holes, I hope that it is good. We may also just be wherever we are now, just lazy as shit and not wanting to put in.
Possible.
All possibles. Although unlikely, we do tend to record when able to record. As a matter of fact, excuse me one moment. I do have to close the door, so talks amongst yourselves.
We're going to talk amongst ourselves here. So I don't know when this is airing, but I recently, as many of you know, I produce and host magic shows, mentalism shows, and things like that in little old Elkton, Maryland, which, if you're a new listener, is a town of about 20,000 households-ish. That sits equidistant from Baltimore and Philly. And I've been doing this for like 3.5 years at the time of recording. And for a while, I would send local media outlets and everything press releases, and nothing would happen. And then I would only send the press releases if we were doing a fundraiser show, and nothing would happen. So then I stopped sending out any sort of notices about any of these shows to the media because, well, if you don't care, I don't care. So last week, I got a phone call from one of their reporters wanting to talk about the upcoming, at the time of this recording, who knows when this will drop, the Jokers of Magic tour and the show that was to happen here in Elkton. And I say it that way because it will have already happened by the time you hear this, even if the world falls apart and this episode drops the week following us recording it. That show already happened. So the guy interviews me, and I'm happy at the opportunity to talk about this. But he wanted to talk about me, and he wanted to talk about my journey. I don't give a shit about that. I want butts and seats. So can we talk about these people coming to town? Can we talk about these shows? Can you talk about the types of magicians and the types of acts that we're bringing here? I don't want my phone ringing. I want tickets being sold. I want butts and seats. This ain't about me. I've been relatively good career-wise and putting ego aside when I need to. Not always. Let's be real. Wins are wins, and sometimes you want to celebrate those wins. But for this, I just want butts and seats. I want more awareness about this thing. So today, on the as we're recording this, is the day that this article dropped, and I saw it online, and the what is he called? The reporter. Yeah, that's the word. I've already used it once in this conversation. I should be able to access that word. Reporter calls me before. He's like, let me read this back to you. There were actually a couple little tweak things, like, one of the things, and this is me always being kind of trying to be aware of what's going on. He was asking me about my mentalism routines and everything like that, and I was describing to him, and this was in conversation. I didn't know that it was going to get worked into this article. We were talking about the staple gun routine that I do, the Russian roulette style routine, and then he asked me, is there something tricky about the staple guns? I'm like, no. In fact, if I flew somewhere and they didn't, if TSA didn't let me take them, or if I forgot them or lost them or whatever, I could just go to any Home Depot or Lowe's and pick up new ones. So as he's doing the read back, I'm like, you know what, let's change that to that market's version of American Home and Hardware, which is I want to support local. So I was like, let's not mention the big box. Let's mention it as if I'm going into someplace local to buy these things, little things like that. So I'm expecting this article to be buried, in some, late section. Nobody's going to see it. Not that a whole lot of people are reading the newspaper these days anymore anyway. And I walk across the street to my old neighbor's building, he's across the street. I used to rent space before I bought the building that I'm in now. And his front desk person's like, hey, I saw you in the newspaper today. I'm like, oh, do you guys have a copy here? Because I haven't found it yet in physical form. This article's front page above the center, above the fold. So I wasn't expecting that. So that was a fun surprise. The article is on the Elkton Magic. I posted the online version of it, the digital version of it, on the Elkton Magic Facebook page. Post that article into our show's Patreon feed as well. That way everybody's got access to it. It'll be way out of context.
Access to our Patreon feed. Swing on over to bullwiththebutthole.com and join there.
Yeah, who knows when this episode compared to when I'm in the wrong one. You know what? I have 3 different browsers for 3 different things because they all have the different logins and everything. Do you do anything like that? Crazy shit like that?
I have one browser for everything, but I am the kind of guy to have like 35 tabs open on that single browser page.
Oh yeah, 35 tabs. That's a light day.
Yeah. The problem with me is that like I love to watch YouTube videos. And so I'll scroll through like the notifications of what new videos are there. And I'll, open a new tab, open a new tab, open a new tab, all the different videos that I want to watch. So that when I finally get to watching them, I can watch one, close the tab, watch one, close the tab. Which oftentimes eats up a lot of the data, which I try to make sure not to do that before we have a recording session, because then I go, shit, I didn't watch any of these. I got to close all these out.
Right.
So no, I can't do the multiple browsers
As a
thing.
creator. All right, so this will have already been there, and if you are watching this way in the future, this is getting posted into our Patreon on Wednesday, March 12th. So if you're scrolling back to do that, that's the date that you're looking for. So that was kind of a fun little surprise seeing that. Not only, I mean, I knew it was going to be in the paper. What I didn't know was that I was going to be front page above the fold. Must be a slow news week. So yeah, I am between that, the direct mail campaign, which those are hitting mailboxes, and everything else. I'm expecting ticket sales to probably double from what they are right now over the course of the next 3 days, which would be awesome. It would be awesome. But I'm sure you'll have an update before you hear this episode about how all that went. The good thing is when you hire professionals and when you bring people in like the Jokers of Magic and Matt and Eric and Nick, these guys that that the show part's going to go well. That's going to be fantastic.
Right.
So definitely bring in professionals if you're doing anything like that. But yeah, it's good stuff. So what you got? What's going on, man?
All right. So today, I figured, and since it's a bank episode, we don't want to really talk about, try not to talk about current events or timing things.
Like I just did for the last 10 minutes. Yeah.
Right. I mean, you had to fill the space, and we can easily fill the space and with what's happening now. So if you're going back, but you did timestamp it, so people listen.
I did.
And check it out. I thought we would discuss the 5 new travel regulations in 2025. Again, this is a topic. This will drop this year, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And so while some of the information has dates of effect, no matter when you're listening to this, you can, if you're listening to this, 2026 or 2027, you've gone back and started some old episodes. This is a snapshot of the new regulation that came up in 2025. Yeah. So this first one I knew about. The number one is travelers will need a real ID or other acceptable ID for all flights.
Yeah, that's coming into play too soon,
including domestic. Beginning May 7th, 2025, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security will enforce the Real ID Act. That means all travelers over 18 years or older will need a Real ID compliant driver's license or identification card to board domestic flights and access certain federal facilities. Now, alternatives may vary state by state, but they're included a valid U.S. passport. Pretty much the U.S. passport is like a coverall, right? Yeah. If you have a passport, you're good. Any valid government issued foreign passport, DHS trusted traveler card such as Global Entry, which I think we're going to finally get this year. Hopefully, fingers and toes that we're going to just apply and get that. A U.S. Department of Defense ID. And if you're aware of what's happening in 2025, I'm pretty sure a lot fewer people have those now. And permanent resident card. Yeah.
Yeah, I got my Real ID back when they first warned that this was going to take effect, and then they delayed it, and then they delayed it, and then they delayed it. But I still have it.
They announced it. When they announced it, it was the year that I needed to renew my driver's license when I was living in Vegas. And so I just went ahead and got the Real ID.
Yeah, of course.
And so, why not? I might as well get it since it's going to be, part of the things that we need to travel. And, like you said, they delayed it and delayed it and delayed it and delayed it. And I said, it doesn't matter. I still got it. So, I'll keep it and I'll have it. And I have my passport, and, we discussed our passport in a previous episode, our passport situations in our previous episode. But I've used my passport way more frequently recently as well. Okay. So real ID, everybody. If you don't already have it, go get your real ID.
A lot
Now,
different than the fake ID that I had back when I was in undergrad.
did you have a fake ID? I never had a fake ID.
I had several.
Really? I
We
never.
we we made them at one point in time. We were making them, and it was
Okay.
great because everybody had the same fucking name, just different pictures. It was really weird. And then there was a guy that I knew who, for all intents and purposes, didn't look anything like me, but looked close enough to me that when his license expired and he got a new one, he gave me his old one, and that worked most places.
Nice.
So I had that for a little while. And then, you run around and you do all that shit. By the time you figure out something that's going to work, you turn 21 and it doesn't matter anymore.
Doesn't matter anymore. Who cares? Yeah, I was never doing anything that required a fake ID. Like all the clubs that I went to were, at the time I was going to clubs, that there was an 18 and over club in Southern California that I would go to. And so, I got the club experience, and I didn't really drink. By that time, I just wasn't drinking. So I didn't care about like trying to get alcohol, wasn't a thing. And by the time, I decided to start drinking, I hit 21, just before 21 and hit 21. And then I was like, oh, good. I can get it all legally now. I don't have to, just get it at a house party, which is where I was getting my
But see, we
liquor.
had so many of those, where we would throw house parties. So if somebody overage was doing it. We also, as we've talked about before, we were an hour or so from Canada. So anytime somebody would turn 19, a whole mess of us, 2-3 carloads full, would roll over to the Niagara Falls area, and we'd just go out there. So where it was legal at 19. So, that obviously we weren't doing that every day. That wasn't the normal spot, but like 2-3 times a year, we would take a pilgrimage to Canada. I don't know that people can do that anymore right now in the current state of affairs, but yeah, real IDs.
Yeah, real ideas. Okay, this next one is goes under the fuck you UK column. The United Kingdom will now require an electronic travel authorization. Starting January 8th, 2025, the UK requires travelers from 48 countries, including the US, to get an electronic travel authorization. This program applies to visitors who don't need a visa for short trips, less than 6 months, for tourism, business, or short-term study. The ETA is linked to your passport and is valid for 2 years or until your current passport expires, meaning you can visit the UK as many times as you like.
So you only have to do it once. That's cool.
That's not bad.
Or once every 2 years.
Yeah. All travelers, including babies and young children, will need to complete an ETA or have someone complete it on their behalf. To apply, you'll need to fill out a form online or download the app. It costs £10, roughly $13 USD. It takes about 20 minutes to fill out, but you'll need to complete it in one sitting. Progress won't be saved if you exit before finishing. You usually get a decision within 3 business.
If it's anything like the travel visa that we had to get when we went to Egypt, there's nothing to it. It's just where you're going, and it might be a little different because it's good for 2 years, but like, where you're going, where you're staying, how long you're going to be there, what are your flight numbers. It was a page's worth of information, and then you paid. I think ours was like $25, and then within 24 hours, we had those e-visas that we needed.
Nice.
For Egypt, super easy.
Yeah, so I'm thinking when we renew my wife's passport, I'll look at, I won't do it until we renew her passport. I'll look at that because I know that we're planning a trip to the UK within a year, within a year or a year and a half or so, to go see our friends out that way. We were going to go this year for a cruise. We were planning on taking one of the Virgin Voyages transatlantic from Portsmouth, UK to New York City. We did not get on board. We weren't able to book the friends and family in time. It was too quick a notice, so we weren't able to save up the money to pay the final cost. Like we found out about it February 10th or so, and the due date was February 17th, and we had to pay like $1,200, and we didn't have that in flexible cash. So not with Nilla's birthday cruise right around the corner that we were also paying for at the same time.
Right. Yeah.
Not been I'm not cash fluid like that yet. With my coaching business coming into play, that could change pretty quickly as well. I'm looking forward to that. And plus, we're putting together a huge seminar, a confidence and coaching public speaking seminar. The wife, myself, and our friend Isak are doing that here in Playa. We're looking sometime in July. That's going to be a high ticket confidence 2-day workshop. And that should bring in some nice cheddar as well to also help with these kind of fun things. And if I get in the habit of doing that and then get my coaching business, and my goal is to get, significant income so that I can travel where I want to, where I want to. And then when something good comes up, I ain't got to hem and haw. Can we afford it? Can we do it? I can just go, boom, let's do it. Let's take advantage of it. Let's go. Let's go.
When you plan that, let me know.
Yeah, we'll do.
Because I would love it to add to your offering if you're doing like a 2-day thing, that at the end of the second day, for an additional cost, anybody that wants to quit smoking, I come down and do a hypnosis seminar.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
A group stop smoking seminar. Because that'd be a fun thing. Add some extra money in there.
Yeah, I'll keep you posted.
Give me an excuse to fly down and hang out with y'all.
It's going to be, we're looking at the 4th of July weekend right now, tentatively. Okay. So you can look on your calendar and see what your time frame around that is, the availability for that as well. So if you came down for the weekend, that'd be awesome, as part of, if we have any kind of entertainment, to do a hypnosis show. That'd be pretty cool. And
you know me, I'm down for whatever. Let's rock and roll.
I know it. You're DFW, like Dallas Fort Worth. All right, here we go. Number 3. The European Travel Information and Authorization System is expected to roll out this summer. Not December. I don't know what summer is. Is expected to roll out this summer. The European Union is set to introduce the European Travel Information and Authorization System, or ETIAS, in May 2025. May is that travel time, right? May is like we're doing shit in May. Shit gets done in May. Similar to the ETA system in the UK, this requirement mandates that travelers from visa-exempt countries, including the US, obtain travel authorization before visiting the Schengen area countries. And there's a link, and we're going to list the Schengen area country because this is important. This is something that came into play when we were in Spain.
Yeah, very much so.
And we had to get out of Spain and had to get out of the Schengen. So these 30 European countries require visa-exempt travelers to have an ETIAS travel authorization. And here they are: Austria, Belgium, Bulgaria, Croatia, Cyprus, Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Iceland, Italy, Latvia, Liechtenstein, Lithuania, or Liechtenstein. I think it's Liechtenstein.
Liechtenstein.
Yep. Lithuania, Luxembourg, Malta, Netherlands, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Romania, Slovakia, Slovenia, Spain, Sweden, and Switzerland. Now, noted additions to this list: Bulgaria, Cyprus, and Romania. When we were in Spain and we had to get out of Spain, those 3 countries were not on this list. So if we were there, if then happened now, as we are the #1 time traveling podcast where the host's name is Big Sexy in existence, if this had happened now, we would not have been able to go to Romania. So we were able to go to Romania before they they became a part of the European Union. Now, then they have the list of all the visa exempt countries, and I'm not going to list it because it's fucking long. But we are on that list, and I think this is a good list to look at. Okay, so these are the countries we can go to if we had to get out of the European Union. If we had to get out of the Schengen area, these are all the list of countries that we could go to. Some interesting. Yeah, Mexico's here. Trinidad and Tobago, Brazil, Canada, US, Costa Rica. We're looking at Costa Rica and Panama. Panama is here as well.
I wouldn't mind going to Costa Rica. We planned to go to Costa Rica a couple of years ago, and then it fell apart because it was in that time where the regulations regarding COVID were constantly in flux.
Right.
We booked it. We booked everything, flights, the resort, all that stuff. And then the very, very next day, they announced that Americans would need to be able to get a negative COVID test before coming back to the States. And I was like, man, I don't know if, we want to roll the dice on that, being able to find a place when we get there.
Right.
So fortunately, both the flight and the resort, if you canceled within 24 hours of the booking, had a 100% refund policy. So the timing was perfect. And we haven't really put thoughts of it going back there, but it's on my list of places that I definitely like to go at some point in time.
Yeah, listeners, listen back. Costa Rica was in our backup plans for Portugal. Back in the day, we're looking at the top 3 spots were Portugal, Costa Rica, and Panama. That was 1, 2, and 3, and then Spain popped up. And I love that of the 3, we went to one for one day for about 9 hours.
Cruise port, nothing more.
Cruise port, nothing more. That's it. And we went up to Sintra as well, right? So we did get a little bit further into the city, but that's it. Lisbon, that's all we got as far as we got for that one time. We have not been able to go back. And again, listeners, as you may know, my ignorance played a big part of that. In my early days, I had no idea of the ease or lack thereof of travel between these countries. In my mind, Europe was a lot smaller because of the hyperbole that a lot of people said, yeah, man, you can hop on a train and be blah, 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 and it's really quick, da, 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 da. So I thought it was like, almost like traveling to states, but even smaller than that. But it's not. It's not. It's difficult. Like, I remember just traveling from Barcelona to Malaga, same country. Barcelona to Malaga, same country. High-speed train, Barcelona to Malaga, 9 hours.
Yeah.
That's not, we traveled 9 hours, we're still in the same country. So I have to put respect on Europe's name.
Speaking of the moving about, I have every intention the next time that I go on a cruise, regardless of the occasion for which I'm going on the cruise, whether I'm booking it myself and it's just a pleasure trip, or if I get booked to perform, doesn't matter. I intend to research the ports. Now, if I'm booking it and I'm choosing, I'm going to research, as we've talked about in the past, cruises that go to ports that I want to potentially explore those countries. I was never in the early couple ones. It was all about, hey, let's go do this cruise thing. So where the port destinations were not super important in my time process there. Now I've kind of evolved to the point where I think, no, I want to know where I'm going because I already know everything's going to happen on that ship for the most part. That part's covered. Got it. Check. Move on. Now get to the stuff that's unique here. And I want to do more of the like digging in to be like, okay, on the map, here is the cruise port. What's beyond it? Because some of those cruise ports, there's nothing. They've like built up the area around the cruise port and then there's a whole lot of nothing. And then you get into the reality of things. So it's not advantageous for you to explore out unless you rent a car or take a cab and then you're rolling the dice on whether or not you're going to get ripped off. But find the ones where it's like, okay, here's a place that outside of ground zero, I can go down this road and then it opens up and there's a real city without the touristy shit. Now go explore. Like, I'm super interested in doing that the next time that I cruise, which as of right now isn't booked. We're not even looking at dates on cruises.
Right.
We're I
We
told
are.
an
We're counting
update
out.
from a previous episode. Again, who knows how long ago this was. We opted to stick with, and I'm sure you've already gotten this update to some extent. We opted to stick with the Vegas plans, not do the runaround. I told my wife, because some things happened at the office, that I was like, I can't juggle this secretly. She either just has to know and be like, okay, let's do it, let's get it expedited, or decide not to.
Uh,
We were like, you know what, we're just going to renew the passports normally. We're going to do the Vegas trip. And I am booking that resort that she wants to go back to either the week before or the week after her birthday in October.
Great.
So we're going to do Jamaica this year, just not under the gun of, oh shit, can you get your passport renewed in time?
Well, well, I mean, I'm gonna say keep me posted. Not like we talk about this shit every week.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, because again, with the coaching and everything, as that tends to grow and whatever, maybe you we double date a trip to Jamaica. I think that'd be amazing because we've never been, and so I think that would be awesome. And while we're not celebrating anything in October, if we actually decide to get our temporary residency here in Mexico, then we'll just be living here, and then we'll be able to make that.
And then you're going to have to go on vacation.
Then we got to go on vacation. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
After coming back from, maybe it'll be an extended birthday vacation, because our vacation was going to be, my birthday vacation was going to be the transatlantic, again, from the UK to New York. That fell through as of now. As of now, it's fell through. Who knows what the future holds?
If I'm doing the week after her birthday, that's like the third week of October. That's just like early for your birthday. So it could be your birthday celebration too.
Right. Exactly that. Yeah, we can extend that. I'm fine with that. Absolutely. Perfect. Okay. Numero cuatro. The European Union's entry-exit system may be implemented in 2025. So, in addition to the ETIAS, the EU plans to implement the entry-exit system. This automated IT system will register non-EU travelers each time they cross an EU external border, recording information such as name, travel document, biometric data, fingerprints, and facial images, and the
That's how they
date
get you.
entry and exit. The EES aims to improve border management, reduce delays, and enhance security. Travelers should be prepared for biometric data collection when entering EU countries and allow extra time for this at border crossing once this new regulation rolls out. So if you're traveling, look, the EU is already going to be collecting your biometric data to add to their database. We are all being tagged and bagged, ladies and gentlemen. We're all being, it's just a digital ear tag. We are traveling cattle, which is fine. We're the traveling cattle of the world. I think cattle is plural. So I don't have to say cattles.
Correct.
We are the traveling cattle of the world. As a traveler. Moo bitches. So with that, and fine, I don't care. People get hung out and freaked out over, agencies collecting your biometric data. Shut up. What are you talking about? You if you go to anything you do has your biometric data on it, biometric data on it. Everything you do.
Yeah, most of us are carrying around tracking chips, and I'm not talking about the one that they put in your arm and called a vaccine. I'm talking about this little phone thing,
little cell device that we go. Anytime, people love Apple iPay. Every time they go to the store or Google Wallet, you just touch your phone to something and be able to pay for it. Well, guess what?
I don't like it. I don't do that.
That company now has your information. Do you have a credit card? Do you pay with your credit card?
Sure
do. Credit card chip?
Yeah.
Do you tap that chip? Did they have your information?
Oh, I know they got my information.
You're already out. Everybody's already out there. People are like, no, I don't want my information out there. Shut up. It's already there. They already got it. Yeah. Yeah. You know who they don't have? Brand new babies. That's about it. And you know what they're going to get right as they're born? Their information.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, whatever. Do it. Ease of travel. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Hopefully it makes travel faster and easier. I know they want to secure their borders, but if all I got to do is walk up, put my thumb on something and look at a camera, and then boom, you're good to go. We already have in our system that you, Big Sexy, are welcome into our country. Done. Let's do that. I'll be fine with that. All right. Last but not least, numero cinco. There are new protections for airline passengers. Interesting. So new federal rules from the Department of Transportation require airlines to automatically refund passengers for canceled flights or major scheduled changes. That's nice. And the travelers can also get refunds for delayed baggage more than 12 hours domestically or 15 to 30 hours internationally, and for services like in-flight Wi-Fi that doesn't work. Airlines must also provide 24/7 live customer service. These changes are meant to improve passenger rights and service quality. Yeah. Which I'm 100% on board with.
Yeah.
I told you the story of, but I would tell it here again for this bank episode for any new listeners. When we were traveling from the UK back to Romania. Traveling from the UK we bought ourselves a day, right? We had to get out of Romania. Romania also had the same regulations as the Schengen area, but not a part of the Schengen area. So you can only be there 90 days out of every 180 days. So they have the same regulations. But we were in Romania. We were out of the Schengen for technically 91 days. So we had to buy that extra day, and we bought it in the UK. We spent 36 hours in the UK, and where did we leave? Oh, we boarded Fox, right? We boarded Fox, took a trip to London, spent a day and a half in London, and then came back. On the way back, the flight got delayed from London back to Romania, and it almost got delayed long enough for us to get the refund on the flight, or compensation for having the delayed flight. They got us under the wire with 5 minutes to spare.
I believe it.
5 minutes, and they went from saying, "Hey, everybody, wait, the flight got delayed again. We got to get the plane ready." And then I'm sure somebody somewhere said, no, you got to get them on this plane right now. Because if they're on the plane, right, then you can make up the time in the air.
Yeah.
But you got to get them on this plane now.
Because you can't make up the money.
Because you can't make up the money, right. And so they initially announced like it's going to be another hour. And then 20 minutes into that time frame, they said, everybody get on the plane now. All right, everybody, we're boarding the plane. Like people had just, not even 20 minutes, maybe like 5 to 10 minutes, they changed their announcement because people were like, oh, fine. And then people kind of wandered off to go to the bathroom and do whatever. And then they made the announcement. So then people lined up and got on the plane. And then we were, they took off and they made up the time in the air. And we landed, got 5 minutes to spare. We thought we were going to get it, but the timestamp of everything was 5 minutes short. So,
yeah.
We're so almost to be very thrilled because our refund would have been more than what we paid for the entire trip and the Airbnb that while we were there. If we both got it, which we both would have got it. So there was that. So this regulation is going to approve that, and it's more than 12 hours domestically and 15 to 30 hours. I hate that 15 to 30. I hate such a large window of time. Like it should be pick a number, and more than that is what it is.
Yeah.
And that's for delayed baggage, right? That's for delayed baggage. I love also the services like in-flight Wi-Fi that doesn't work. That's awesome. All right.
I've definitely had that happen before.
Yeah. Last but not least, quick tip on they're preparing for travel in 2025. So listeners, if you're planning on going somewhere in this year, as we are pretty soon, 5 steps you want to consider. Be sure to consider the 5 steps to make travel as smooth as possible. 1, verify identification. Ensure you have a real ID compliant driver license or any acceptable alternative before May 7th. 2, apply for necessary authorizations. If you're going to the UK or the EU, be sure to apply for the required ETA or ETIAS well before your departure date. Check passport validity. Confirm that your passport meets the validity requirements of your destination and renew it early if necessary. I recommend if your passport is expiring within a year, renew it. Just do it. Don't wait for it to reach some magical line in the sand. Just do it. Renew it. And then if you're like Judge Mentalist is doing with his spouse, if you and your wife are traveling, if you and your significant other have passports and the timing is different, like I'm looking, I think we can't do that because they're already different. I already renewed mine and she's about to renew hers. And I renewed mine before we traveled and we didn't think about this back then. If you can, sync up your renewal dates for your passport. So as a family unit, you can always do it at the same time at once and get it done instead of trying to have them remember 2 different dates. And last but not least, keep up to date. Read additional travel advisories and requirements related to your specific destination, cruise line, hotels, etc. Yeah, speaking of keeping up to date with the cruise line, I'm not quite happy with the Princess method of dinner reservations. I can't find where to book the reservations on the website. I can do it on the app.
Okay.
And I was trying to book a special dinner for the wife, and I'll have the caveat that my mother's traveling with us, and and then they want payment in advance. That's the other hard thing, right? Like, so I was looking at booking for their steakhouse, to have a lovely dinner. Me and the wife we love steak, so booking something in the steakhouse. But they want the payment up front. So all 3 of us, it's like $45 per person plus tax or whatever. And so, or just 45 person plus tax, 45 for, it's 45 person right to purchase, no tax. But they want the payment now. Like, to reserve it, you gotta pay it now. And I thought, I don't want to pay the $135 now.
Yeah.
I just want to reserve the time slot and pay you when I get on board. So there's that part of it. There's also some kind of weird billing thing that I need to look at and call them about to make sure that this isn't an invoice that they're charging me for on the end of the flight, because everything, so it's kind of one compassion. I'm like, what am I looking at? I need somebody over there to tell me, what am I looking at? Because I'm not paying for all this shit that you have me marked down paying for. Now, if this is all complimentary based on the cruise package that we won, sweet. That's even better. But if not, you make sure I'm not paying for none of this shit. So we got to look into that. So I got some calls to make with Princess Cruises before we travel on board that ship. All right. Where you want to go? We can run over the top 10 trending destinations for 2025, or we can make this a really short episode. Or we can just do like 5 of the top 10.
Let's do 5 of the top 10.
All right. Let's see if we can get to, oh God, maybe. Okay. So, all right, here we go. First one on here. Brisbane, Australia. You ever been?
I've not been to Australia.
Me neither. Shout out to our friends, our friend over there. Well, friends, they're multiple people, but one half.
Hey, buddy, nice podcast.
If that podcast is still up and running, I don't even know anymore.
I don't think they've dropped a new episode in quite some time.
Yeah, shout out to Wayne Geo and his lovely wife Kez over there in Perth. But they're not in Brisbane. But Brisbane, Australia. Brisbane is the state capital of Queensland and the 3rd largest city in Australia. Located between the Gold and Sunshine Coasts, Brisbane offers excellent museums, vibrant dining, and nightlife. There is plenty to see in Brisbane, from the world's largest koala sanctuary, watch out for the syphilis, to the botanic gardens, to sunbathing on the Gold Coast beaches. The city has something to offer everyone. So that's number one is Brisbane, Australia. Is Australia in your travel vision board, as it were?
I would like to get there, and probably within the next couple of years, but I haven't put any plans in motion.
Yeah, me neither, but it's definitely a place that I want to go. All right, next up we have Brittany, France. You've been to France? You've been to France, yes?
I have not been to France.
No, really. We have been through France. We spent way more time in Calais, France than I wanted to ever. Shout out to Raquel, who is a new dear friend in France. She was the one who watched Fox for us while we were passing through to buy us more time. So we had to go to the UK again. And we had to leave Fox in France. So now Fox is also a French dog. All right. So Brittany, France, distinctive culture, coastal scenery, miles of seaside walking paths, granite castles, and cobbled streets are all highlights when visiting Brittany. The area, seemingly right out of the Middle Ages, that tells me no Wi-Fi, is home to beautiful towns and villages and 12th century fortifications. And they have pictures here. There are some that definitely looks like a place you'd see in Game of Thrones. Right, with the surround, looks like surrounded by water, and it's like this castle with other little hubbubs in the city off the castle. That's pretty interesting. All right, let's see. Number 3. Ooh, I can't even know if I'm pronouncing this correctly. Franschhoek, South Africa. Franschhoek, the stunning mountain ring gem in the Cape Winelands region, is an ideal addition to a safari vacation. With nearly 50 wineries, farm-to-table restaurants, and hiking, it is famed as one of the world's greatest food and wine destinations. Are you guys the food and wine people? You and the missus?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You like a good wine?
I like a good food.
I like a good food. Yeah, me and my wife, and neither my wife nor myself are wine people. We're very much. My wife found out that my wife's allergic to red wine.
Oh,
and yeah, and when
sorry
and
for
when
your loss.
she figured that out when I don't mind. Figured out that when she went to Napa with her girl on one of her girls' trips, and they were sharing wine or whatever, and she started breaking out. She's like, "What? I haven't had anything." She realized she had red wine, and so she would break out in small hives anytime she drank red wine. And then, some people be like, the stunning wooden notes of this Enchanté accompaniment with a distant hint of oak, right? And we're very much the type of people like, this wine tastes like wine. It's just delicious wine. This wine is whining like nobody's wine business, and I really don't like the taste of it. So there's that. All right. And last but not least, uno cinco, Koh Samui, Thailand. Have you been to Southeast Asia ever?
I have not. No.
Yeah, Southeast Asia is definitely in my places to go. My wife has lived there before. If you're just a new listener, swing back to episode 7. You'll hear us talk to my lovely wife Nilla about her travels through Asia. And she's lived in Thailand for a while. I don't know if she's ever been to Koh Samui, but this 88 square mile Koh Samui offers a dreamy combo of lush jungle. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with me. Dreamy combo of lush jungle, white sand beaches, and turquoise waters. Perfect for active travelers or those looking to relax. With the popular television show White Lotus, 3rd season filmed here, is sure to inspire set-jetting travelers for 2025. Yeah.
I haven't even watched White Lotus. It's on the list. I'm hearing buzz about it. I may get into it at some point in time.
None of the seasons?
Not yet.
All right. Yeah, it's really good. We just started the 3rd season. It's a slow burn. It's they always hit you with something terrible happens, and then they backtrack and show you how they get to the something terrible, and then wrapped up the post terrible thing that happened. Yeah.
Interesting.
But it takes so long to get to the terrible event that's happening, you almost forget what happened. So when it happens, you're like, oh, right. Oh, this is the thing they showed us in the very first opening 10 minutes of the show. Perfect usage. All right, top 10.
It's just sitting there waiting for me.
We'll round it out. We got Macau, China, Moab, Utah. Oh, the U.S. made the cut. Okay. Let's see. Nico, Japan. Paros, Greece. I definitely want to get back to Greece. Yeah, definitely want to get back to Greece. And Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
Yeah. And then they included Sun Valley, Idaho, but that's never happened.
What?
Sun Valley, Idaho, in the United States somehow made the list. But don't forget, this list is according to American Express Travel. So
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they had to throw some much more United States places on this list for reasons.
Yeah.
On this top 10 list. So yeah, listeners, those are the top 10 or the top 10 places. We discussed 5 of them. Places you may want to travel and visit to in 2025. We are not going to any of those this year. We are, however, going to the Eastern Caribbean. So I found out recently, and this is a little bit time sensitive. By the time you hear this, it's already happened, so I can talk about it now. And the wife doesn't listen to the podcast, so she'll never hear this.
Nice.
I heard her talking in conversation that she really, really hopes that we're going to Turks and Caicos. And we are.
Grand Turk's on your list, right?
Grand Turk is on the list. So I'm currently looking up spots in that area, like a good restaurant to go there and recommendations for there and where the beaches are and trying to navigate. That's the one place I really want to be able to navigate and take her to and have her see the things that are pretty awesome there. If I do buy an excursion, it'll be on that port. Yeah, to be sure. What I need to do, I need to talk to my mom and be like, Mom, I'm looking to book extra stuff. Do you want me to book you with us, or do you want to stay on the boat, or do you want to just do your own thing? I need to see where it lies. I got to remember for this trip, I got to incorporate moms in the plans as well, which always adds a slightly added wrinkle. Yeah. But we're looking forward to it. So it should be fun. Excellent. So I'm really excited for that. So yeah, that's what we got. And so listeners, those who travel, and then when you do travel, be sure to pay attention to those 5 new travel regulations as well. And you know what pisses me off is this late in the episode. I know I said something that I liked. Oh, I got it. I remember now. I always forget to write down possible episode titles.
Oh, yeah.
And I got to, as they come up, I said, oh, that's a good episode. I got to remember to jot it down.
What do you got?
We are the cattle of travel.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we are the cattle of travel. Yeah, or we are that's it. We are the cattle of travel. I like that. So listeners, as you know, we do all the things. Be sure to swing on over to bullwiththebutthole.com and join our Patreon. You can see the videos, see the special stuff. There will be cruising and our recent vacation pictures and videos will be up on the Patreon. I'm only going to share a very small percentage of on my social medias at bigsexynomad.com, at bigsexynomad, or at who is big sexy. But we take a lot of pictures and videos. I'm going to put everything else up on the Patreon under its own category of Nilla's 50th. So be sure to go over and subscribe at bullwiththebutthole.com. Some of those will be for all members, and some of those will be for paid members only, right? The much more fun, risque, exciting videos.
Yeah, girl.
those will definitely be on the behind the paywall. So, but you can subscribe for as low as $1 a month, and be a part of the community. Also, the support would be wonderful. We did kick up a new GoFundMe account. I'm going to put that on our social medias as well for the wife for her birthday. By the time you've heard this, it'll be over, so I don't even know why I'm talking about it, but just to get in the habit of talking about it while I'm recording. I'll mention this again when we record tomorrow for the latest episode, but it's to purchase my wife a mahjong, a unique mahjong set that she's been asking for since we learned how to play the game, and we bought our first set, which was like 2 or 3 years ago. And it's her 50th birthday. I thought that'd be a great birthday gift to get her. A thing to get her is this really fancy and colorful mahjong set. And if you know my wife, you know she's a walking rainbow.
Oh, yeah.
So swing on over to our Patreon, and you will see the GoFundMe listed there. Or you can always shoot me an email if it's something you still want to, contribute to. You're like, oh man, I wish I'd have known I could contribute. You still can. It'll be open for a while. You can shoot us an email over at bigsexynomad@gmail.com. Let me know you want to support that, and or send us a message. So send you the link, fund me there in our Patreon as well. All right. And as always, if you want any Big Sexy merch, swing on over to whereisbigsexy.com. You can get your Big Sexy Digital Nomad merchandise. A lot of fun artwork over there. Still hoping to include some new art pieces. If you're a graphic artist or an artist and you want to submit any work for Big Sexy Digital Nomad, send us the information. If you have a commissions page, shoot us that information over bigsexynomad@gmail.com. And, send us some examples of Big Sexy Digital Nomad themed artwork. Anything you love, we'll definitely put up on our merch store, and percentage.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a percentage of a tiny ass percentage, but we'll Venmo you or Cash App you, pennies, as it were. But so that's it. Again, it's the bank episode, so we're not really promoting these shows or upcoming, because by the time you hear this, most of that shit
There'll be
will already
something either at betweentwominds.com, judgmentalist.com, or elkthemagic.com.
Yep. And you can also go to I think I'm doing bigconfidencecoaching.com from if you're interested in learning how to do public speaking or something along those lines. Look up bigconfidencecoaching.com. But in the meantime,
safe travels.